Hello. Today on my show, I think we're gonna talk about sunglasses. When I see sunglasses, I think of it as a symbol that one wants to hide from the world. And so if you'd analyze a dream, that's what it would mean to me. If you're enlightened in this world, I've heard it could be like a dream. Thus, can you analyze this world like a dream? I try to sometimes, but, the meaning of this world doesn't align in a rational way. It won't agree to being analyzed as a dream. It has its own truth. And the truth of this world is that it will go to heaven. Starkingly trite in its configuration of love for heaven. It's just very dominant profession to get to heaven these days. And so you couldn't insult that, because everyone wants to get to heaven, whether that heaven be a place of changing the belief that we must get to heaven. Just the belief that one must get to heaven by any person creates that energy in the world, in the air, and people feel it and thus are affected by it. And I've realized that those that are lower bow down to what's already established. The first will be last and the last will be first. I believe this. So as we see, I guess that little belief, like getting to heaven, it's almost like an overlord. And until we appease it, we won't be able to do things that are deemed sinful as of now, or things that are deemed as taboo, such as have fun, in incredible ways, and possibly implement that into the government and do some play type things. At least play that can be understood by the energy form that I like, because I believe that the energy conduit energy form that I agree with and is my family home that I like on Earth is a poignant design to implement peace, but it also craves evolvement, and this can be quite strenuous. There's probably other energy things out there, families who can come and help that, as every energy structure has its weakness and strength, and all sorts of things. It's like a supplementation. So what I'm talking about now, I guess, would be the eye as a symbol. An uncovered eye to me is quite important. When I went schizo, after my teacher showed me a light, put a light into me, enlightened me with this light, I started seeing these horrible things, and I guess these things are what makes up who I am. Who I am is who I am, and I can change that in the future. Right now, depending on the degree of power that thing this is how it's established in the world, in consciousness. But one of the things I thought was the eye. I believe that a bare eye is quite healthy, and glasses They must be manufactured, etc. So if you're healthy, then you wouldn't need glasses for when one is correct, is what I believe. Then all his systems will be in tune with one another. Of course there's holes in my thinking. But using magic, healing, one could heal the eye, and vision, so that one could see, such as when Jesus healed people. I believe that's possible on Earth, and it shouldn't be looked at with a specialness, but acceptance on an everyday level. If we keep putting those people who could do that in a special place, I doubt they'd keep doing it on a normal level, because the grace that allows them to do that is not so special, it's every day. It is exactly what the everyday person should be realizing in his own life. And therefore, to be thought of as special is like reserving dessert for every now and then. And I think we should have dessert every day. So you will notice in my little prologues to the rest of my life, these videos, that I breathe funny. I need to get air into my lungs. This is because for 10 years, it's been 10 years since I met my spirit guide, that I have yet to rationalize who he is and what he did to me. And it's only these last couple years that I've really begun trying to be physical again and think in the physical way. So I'm desperately putting these videos on YouTube to show who I am to the world, so that my energy can be integrated into the world and I can see through others' eyes who I am, and thus get that energy back and become more human again. It's a very structured thought process. It goes on forever. And when, after I expand upon all of it, I'll get to the good stuff, and I won't have to think so much about the non-important things. And they're very important, but I know that there's a better calling for me. And I'll be able to enlighten upon things that will make sense into what I intend for the world as my blessing. I want to do this through a book. I always wanted to be part of the fire philosophers, but I believe that when I start talking, sometimes I go insane, as other people interpret it as that. So I do feel comfortable with writing. I love writing. Me communicating through writing is so much different than me talking to a person that wouldn't accept me. Because when I talk to myself on here, I can see myself, and so thus I'm talking to my spirit. When I write, it's like I'm talking to the God of writing or creation through thought processes, through logic. A logic thought process that moves in a linear fashion on and on and on and on and on into infinity, reasoning its existence and telling a story. That's how I think. Just so very logical. Everything is logical. Insanity. I'd like to get a schizophrenic and actually understand it, because I can. I know what goes on with them. And I know why doctors can't understand them, and that's because doctors won't see the light. They won't look at everything. They won't look at torture. People don't like to look at torture. They don't like to look at suffering. Therefore, I bring suffering to the people in a context they can understand. And hopefully the light rays will emanate towards them and integrate into their brains and their hearts and their souls and their beings, so that they may be humbled and not affect people in a lowly manner in the future, if that's their intent and soul and will, to be happy and be enlightened as to what peace can be. It can be like a party. People rebel against peace because they think it's nothing. They think it's the ultimate stillness. And so they make chaos, noise. Mathematically, peace is the ultimate stillness. Matter of factly, as a human, we aren't so divine as to be perfectly still. Thus we move, and thus we're in tune with an energy that will provide for us what we need to be symbolically still, with the grace of God, in love, and not putting too much effort into things that causes excess worry and suffering in the world, because there's very sensitive people in the world that know so much about life and love that they won't work. It doesn't make sense, does it? If work laws are based on philosophies from so way back when of great geniuses who perhaps were a bit insane in their time, and today the workers are so sane that they're insulting the ones they learn from. And really it is learning. I think of, is it Pythagoras? The Pythagorean theorem? Whatever. I think of 3 when I do that. It's something like that. He was an esoteric mysticist. And in math class, I felt so out of tune with his spirit. I would think that he'd want all people to succeed in their endeavors and their true calling, because he did, and he knows the grace of God that went with him, and how lucky and accepted he is to get his message forth and bring it into the future in any form, which is the Pythagorean theorem. To know a genius person, to know any type of person, you shouldn't be their friend. If you can't be their friends, then I don't think you should learn from them. Unless you respect them and are willing to go against their beliefs in a respectful manner that will enable you to agree with them with peace, yet disagree, and build upon their theories in your world. All worlds are different. I believe that if God infuses you with a certain vibration, you can prove anything. And this is what I want to do for some things. I like the Seth books. I believe that spirit has some really great truths about the world. He can go in any direction. He's creative. He knows about healing. He reminds me of the words and work of Tom DeLizzo on the Hermes Trismegistus website, wisdomstore.com. Have a good day, and I hope you like the narrow moment and expand upon the best narrow moment you've ever known, and go forth with that forever and ever. Goodbye.